kidding. We don't do that. We don't write that. No. If you tell me to calm down in a fight, that's going to have the exact opposite outcome for you. What are we doing here? Why am I wasting my time? All right. I have a big question for you. Why is it in insurance we really don't spend as much time, resources, and effort as we need to into training our customer service team? Customer service teams are the heart and soul of every agency. They can make or break deals. And honestly, we have a product that people really just don't like. So it's going to set us apart is that warm, friendly voice on the other side of the phone that's telling us everything's going to be okay. But in so many agencies, we see people spending money on investing in training producers and investing in training all the sales professionals out there. But by far, the bulk of team members in insurance are service people. And at APP, I've wanted to solve this problem for so long because a well trained, confident service team will solve so many challenges in your agency. And so I wanted to take a minute today on this podcast, talk about the 10 things to never say on a service call. And some of these are going to be like, that's not that big of a deal. But I want you to put yourself in the customer's shoes to see exactly how they might feel if you say it. It's the little cues where two or three things said on a call can make people a little cringy. And if we can avoid that and instead have a successful call every time, gosh, all of our lives get a lot better. As many of you know, I travel all across the country and Canada every week. So I'm staying in hotels, I'm at airports, I'm at restaurants, I'm at the center of hospitality. No one wants to see my credit card bill at the end of the month. I mean, nobody. But being a frequent flyer also means I am on point and on pace with customer service. And I can tell you that being a customer service connoisseur across other industries, it is literally the littlest things that matter. We all expect when I check into a hotel to have a seamless transaction. But there are moments when you're checking into a hotel where people can have wow moments, such as when I go to a Marriott, I'm referred to as a guest. And inevitably, they will always thank me for being a titanium elite partner at Marriott. That's just how it is. And by the way, I love it. I can't hear it enough. And I do get little perks here and there, but by far, the recognition is a big deal. Now, on airlines, another place where you might be thinking you never get good customer service, I disagree. It's not uncommon for me to board a plane and have a little note from the flight attendant thanking me for my diamond status. Also, when I check in, everybody says, "Thank you, Miss Donahue, for being a Diamond Elite member here. We really appreciate it." And they mean it, by the way, they mean it. You go to Chick-fil-A, they say, "My pleasure," and they give you unlimited dipping sauces. All these little things do add up. And I think in insurance, we overlook them. You can simply send an auto ID card, or you can make it an experience rather than a transaction. That's what we're aiming to do here with our new WOW customer service course. You can get our WOW customer service course either as a do it yourself video series or work with one of my team members here directly, virtually, or in person at your agency. But I can't think of anything better than making sure your customer service team is well trained. And that's why I wanted to make sure we talk about the 10 things that drive me nuts that I hear on customer service calls. But I also want to say, guys, I think we all need to be focusing in more on customer service training. Rates are going up, and that means that a good firm experience that people like and enjoy means that that customer is going to call you versus your competition. How we make people feel is what they remember if they want to call us again. But if they've been kind of meh, the meh face about us, they're not going to call us. They're going to go shopping around. Now is the time more than ever to invest in customer service training. If we go into the top 10 things, one of the first ones is that is not something I can help you with. Now, you may be true, and all the ones I'm going to go over here today might be absolutely true on paper, but that's not how we say it to somebody. We say it differently to somebody. If you think about, I always say, like, if my husband says something to me and it doesn't quite come off right, that's going to be a problem for the rest of the night. So we can do the same thing with clients. That's not something I can help you with. Hey, great news. You're still a team member of the agency. That means that as a team member of the agency, you certainly can find the person who can help them. So not saying it to that's not something I can help you with, but hey, that's a great question. Let me get so-and-so. They can absolutely help you. And by the way, another little tip, I didn't put this in the blog that this podcast is associated with. Don't pass the buck over and over and over again throughout the whole agency with like a hot potato. If you have defined roles, that's fine. But at some point in time, if the person's been passed along, just take care of it and deal with it on the back end. Don't make the customer suffer. Another one is calm down. This is the one I was thinking about with my husband. If you tell me to calm down in a fight, that's going to have the exact opposite outcome for you. So instead of saying calm down, and that can come out very condescending, right? People are entitled to their feelings. They're frustrated for a reason. As a customer service professional, you need to expect that you're going to deal with some frustrated people and take it on as your responsibility to convert this into the best call of their day. What I don't want you to be saying is calm down, sir, calm down for a second. Listen, we are customer service people. We're not police officers, firefighters, EMTs, none of that. We're here to make them feel great about their interaction and their experience with our company. So calm down can go a wrong way, especially if the tone is not on point, and oftentimes it won't be on point. So instead, what you can say is, hey, I can understand why this is very frustrating for you. Get in their shoes, show empathy, not sympathy, empathy, and you will be in a better situation. Another one, number 3, I don't know. When we start losing faith and confidence in a customer service team, it's apparent. And when somebody says, I don't know, you kind of lose all faith in them. That's not what we want. We want to instead approach things from a much different vantage point. What we do instead of I don't know is instead go, let me look into this for you. That shows much more confidence and strength. You may still have to go ahead and look into it. You may have to contact under it. You might not actually know, but I'm going to look into this for you. What number can I reach you back at is a game plan. I don't know says, well, what are we doing here? Why am I wasting my time? So convert I don't know to let me look into that for you to have a much better customer experience. I'm going to put you on hold. Now, at APP, we do know that I'm going to put you on hold is part of the process. We encourage brief holds if you need them. Not all the time, only if you need them. What's missing from I'm going to put you on hold is a plan or expectation. So we have all had the scenario where we've been put on hold and unfortunately been left behind or been like, how long? Hello? Anybody out there? Just checking. Anybody out there? And that's not what you want your customer to have the experience of either. So another way to say I'm going to put you on hold is so I can accomplish X. I'm going to place you in a brief hold, should be no more than 2 minutes. 2 minutes, check back in on the person. But that's a great way to instead compensate for I'm going to put you on hold and then just go missing, like, hello, what's going on out there, to converting it into a better experience. Another one is we don't do that here. Now, you may not do that there. And I understand what that means, right? We might not write state minimums. We might only quote monoline policies. We may have all sorts of different things that we do in our agency. However, how we explain that to a person is critical. So if you say, yeah, we don't quote state minimums here, you're missing the opportunity. Opportunities to explain why and shed some light on to the client the reason why, because it's a benefit to them. So we don't want to come into everybody saying, we don't do that, we don't do that, we don't do that here. But you could say instead, hey, at this agency, we've committed to only writing policies we would personally purchase or recommend to our friends and family. For that reason, we don't recommend state minimums. However, what many people don't realize is that for a very small investment, you'll get far more protection in the event of a claim. Why don't I work that up just so you can see it? That's a far better way of saying we don't do that. We don't write that. No. I remember when we had to shop my husband's race car Mustang, and everywhere we went was the same scenario, which was unfortunate, which was, do we write your home and auto? No. Oh, we don't do that. If I have a race car Mustang, I definitely have home and auto and some other toys. You probably want to have that conversation and earn the opportunity to talk about the rest. When the gatekeeper was shooting things down, they didn't even have that opportunity. Now, I understand why. No one wants a monoline race car. But we were being sales disablers versus sales enablers too early on in that transaction. It needed to come on later on after we built some rapport. Clearly, if I'm shopping around the race car, I'm probably not super thrilled with the scenario, and you would have the opportunity. But I got to know you could ride the race car before you get to look at everything else. Next up, let me try to get that approved. So that again doesn't have any confidence. That's very waffly. I see Swiss cheese everywhere. This isn't like okay, cool, we got this. We're on it. We're ready to rock and roll. Instead, we're losing confidence. What you want to say instead is, I'm going to contact the underwriter so we can get further clarity in the resolution. That's a plan. You know what you're going to do. You're going to take the next steps. They need to wait in here. But let me try to get that approved is a stretch. Now, we don't want to overpromise. This is a little bit of those gray areas in customer service. I don't want you to overpromise. I don't want you to say, absolutely, I'm going to get the underwriter to do this for you. That's not what we're saying. I'm going to contact the underwriter so we can get further clarity is the best thing. So you're going to say, there's a third party. I'm going to work with them and we're going to figure this out and get back to you. Always, always, always try to build faith and trust in the fact that you're going to fight for them and fight for the client to have the best resolution. No, that's the next one. Just saying no. First of all, no can come off very much the wrong way. And it's always our responsibility as customer service professionals to speak kindly to clients. This is a great example of how you say something that can have a big impact on the client's response. No can come off very differently depending on your tone of voice, the aspect of what's going on. So you have to be very careful about providing that. If anytime anybody's frustrated or upset by anything, your number one goal has to be options. So no shows no other options. But insurance, there's always other options. Always. Some of the options aren't great, but there's usually always another option we can do. So as opposed to saying no, you say, hey, so here's what we can do. Can is a positive word. No is a negative word. And that's not what we want to put into our customer service interactions. Next thing to say in a customer service call, give me a second. Ugh, like, give me a second. That's like what I say to my husband when I'm frustrated. They wants me to go help him with something, or it's just a rude blow off. Instead, we need to be more gentler and kinder. Like they're calling you on their free time to get help with insurance. We understand you may need a second. That might be the truth. Again, these statements are the truth, but we need to find the best ways to say them. Don't be thinking about being harsh. Instead, you might be leaning this time towards a brief hold or multitasking. That's part of being customer service professional. While you might need a second, you could say, hey, what are you doing the weekend? We like to talk about the W's: work, weekend, and weather. Those are soft, easy questions that might allow you a second to catch up or take a look at something so that you don't really need a second. The customer's talking, building rapport with you, and you're going about your business. Or you want to think about a brief hold. You can also say, hold on, allow me to look that up with you. The next one, I've said this about a million times. People are probably sick of me talking about it, but we still do it, which is I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We don't want to hear I'm sorry. You only apologize when you've done something wrong. And so many times in insurance, we haven't done anything wrong. We're just people pleasers. I'm sorry your rate went up. I'm sorry your claim's not covered. I'm sorry you have a late payment fee. What are we sorry for? You had a late payment fee because you paid your bill late. That's what happens. The electricity company doesn't apologize. Credit card company doesn't apologize. They slap interest on it. So instead of saying I'm sorry, you could say I can understand why this is frustrating for you. Comes off just the same kind. But when you say I'm sorry, you're admitting guilt. You're admitting fault. So you say, I'm sorry your rates went up. What fault did we have in that? We had zero. It was the carrier or it was something that the client did that changed their rating factor. You don't apologize. I can understand why this is frustrating for you. Let's look at what options we have. That's your best go-to. You need to get to a plan quickly. One that we hear from time to time is, I'm new here. Oh my gosh, does anyone ever want to hear I'm new here? I don't want to hear that you're the new waitress. My husband and I went out for a great dinner one night and we got a new waitress. We've known the owner of this restaurant forever. Awesome. And he puts the new people with us because we're honest with him, which is fine. I don't care. He takes great care of us. But she came over and said, I'm sorry, I'm new. I'm sorry, I'm new. I'm like, girl, I knew you were new at appetizers. We're now on our third drink. It's great that you're new. Stop it. Like, she then went ahead and made an error with her wine order and she came back over and apologized. She even came back over another time and apologized. At another time we were there, I was like, cool, you're fine. You're good. Don't worry about it. We've moved on. We're at a whole other bottle of wine right now. So I'm new here. You still know more than that client on the other end of the phone, and you have to embrace that. If you can't embrace the fact that you still know more, we're stuck and we're not going to get anywhere. What you can say instead of I'm new here is let me look into that for you. What's the best way to contact you? And by all means, at some point, you're not the new person anymore. So you have to get over that and just keep moving. I'm going to give you my bonus 11th thing that I can't stand, don't want to hear ever, 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 but I hear all the time is my computer's working so slow. Oh my gosh. When I hear your computer's working slow, I'm thinking, what kind of technology do they have? I'll probably have to replete myself. Did they get everything I just said? Is this even going to work? Should I double check it all went through? And it's just freaking chaos. Don't say I'm new here. Don't say that my computer's slow. And here's the other thing. A lot of times your computer's not that slow. It's just you don't know what to say. So instead say, how are you doing this? What are you doing this weekend? How's work going? Have you been enjoying the weather? Just get them talking and watch. Everything comes back around and you'll be fine. But the bottom line is that you want to be thinking about customer service training for your team. Your team needs training. We train them on the management system, carriers, coverages, but we don't train people enough on soft skills. Soft skills are going to be what get the customer to like you and like doing insurance with you and like having their business with you. So if your agency is struggling, or sometimes you walk by and you hear things where like, did that just get said on the phone to a customer? Let us help you with it. Subscribe to our school training, which we have a special on if you're hearing this in the month of October 2022. We also have in-person customer service training and virtual customer service training where you can work with a member of my team, have coaching directly with your staff to get them to embrace it. But little things make a big difference in this industry. And we're here to give your customers that white glove service. So we hope that you have a wonderful day, and we look forward to seeing you as one of our customer service training students. Talk to you soon.